Hello YouTube, it's Dave with Smize Flies. Coming at it again here, another how-to. Today's going to be a Spentwing sulphur. And, yeah, laying the thread bed. Something I tell you guys every day. I'm laying that thread bed again. There it is again, another thread bed, another thread bed. But hey, I enjoy doing these videos for you guys just in case there's people out there that don't know how to tie certain things and want to have a video to follow, like there's so many of. I'm just hoping that mine maybe pick up a little bit of popularity, because I sure do put the time in. So what I like to do on mine for my tails, I like to use pheasant tail. And as I've showed you before, I take my pheasant tail like this and pick out about what I think would be a nice clump for the tail. And I'll pull it out 90 degrees on the feather, and then I just grab it and rip it down. And it comes right off, as you can see it. It came right off in the perfect way. And if you do it that way, you don't have to worry about stacking the hairs. A lot of people don't worry about stacking the hairs on that anyway, because the tail doesn't have to be, the tips don't have to be perfectly lined up on the tail, but I kind of like to do it that way. So, I'm going to bring this back to, I like to go down around the bend just a little bit. That's about where I want it. And then I'm going to wrap back up front, and as I always do, I try to build that body up. So I leave, instead of cutting out my pheasant tail clump that's left, I'll tie it the whole way up to the eye of the hook in a way of trying to build a body. Now it doesn't build a taper right away, but if there's another trick I'm going to do today, something maybe to help you guys out too. I grab this at the front and I fold it back. And then I'll start trying to wrap it back. Sometimes it'll slip on you for a little bit, but if you keep working at it and you don't give up on it, and then you bring it back to about halfway and you stop, and then you snip that out. And what that did is that built me a taper on the fly, which is what I was looking for. So there's the taper. I'm going to go back up front one more time with my thread, just because I see a little bit of bare pheasant tail there that I'm going to hide. You don't have to do this. This is just a fly tyer being picky. And I really do get picky about my flies because, I don't know, even though I'm not selling this fly to anyone in particular at all, it'll probably get used by my boys or myself, I still feel like every fly I tie is a representation of what I'm selling, and I want people to see that I'm selling nice stuff. So, that's the plan anyway. Okay. Is this the right color? I know that I have more than one color of D-rib. I know I do. And I would like to have something a little bit more fitting. I'll use gray rather than using blood red. Blood red would be for like a Quill Gordon or something like that. I'll pull this out, and I'll get about probably about a 3-inch clump of that. Cut it off and set it on top of my vise. And then stuff this all back in. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you guys enjoy these, because I'm going to be trying to do these every day. The only days they won't get done is if there's something that comes up, like an appointment, or if I'm not feeling well. Other than that, I'll have a daily how-to video up. And I'm sure I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to start running out of stuff to tie for you guys, but I will always figure something out. I'll get in my Orvis book, or I'll search YouTube, try to find something. I've got a lot of patterns in mind right now, but so this is called D-rib for a reason. This is basically a circle piece of rubber type thing, and it has a flat side and a rounded side, and you want to tie the flat side up, so when you start wrapping it, it's the rounded side that sticks out of the fly, sticks off the side of the fly. There we go. I got it caught. I'm going to take this back, and I will take this all the way back to the back where I stopped my thread bed. Right to there, and then I'm going to snake back up front a little bit. turn this. Snip that little piece off. Well, maybe not. We're going to try to wrap that in too because that didn't snip well. So we will make it work. There's always a way to figure it out. You just can't give up on yourself. And I got too much of a bulk going on right there right now, so I'm unwrapping a little bit. Okay, so in my area up here in Pennsylvania, the sulfurs up this way get really orangish color. They really do. You know, especially towards the end of their cycle. They're like a tannish orange when they first start, like the emerger and the dry fly. And by the time the cycle's over, they're really nice and like a yellowish orange, like a more orange than yellow though. It's weird. You'd have to be here to see on Spring Creek specifically. And I lived along Spring Creek for a while, and I couldn't stop selling these spinners. People were wanting my sulfur spinners. Like, it got to the point where it almost got ridiculous on me. I'd be tying, you know, every night, 2, 3, 4 dozen every night, you know, just sitting there. Okay, I got them done. All right, they're out of the way. And then before I'd even have a chance to get them into the hands of the person that wanted them, somebody else wanted some. So it just, I mean, it's kind of what I wanted. I guess you have to be careful what you wish for. I was hoping I would be able to sell them. I just had no idea that it was going to be the pattern that took off and that everybody wanted to use because they were seeing each other slam fish on them. Which I'm glad I was able to do that as well. But, you know, sometimes, you know, it gets to be too much, especially when I had my triplets. They were just kids, babies at the time. They were just young. And they would come over and see me, and I, you know, want to spend time with my kids and not be at the vise all the time. So it got to be a little bit more than what I expected it to be. And I'm sure that was all by the grace of God, yes. But, you know, sometimes things can get a little overwhelming, and this pattern definitely got overwhelming on me. Which, again, that's a good thing. I mean, I'm sure there's fly tires out there that would dream to have a pattern that would sell like crazy. I probably sold, that one year I was out living along Spring Creek, I probably sold at least 200 dozen of these things, at least. Because I just couldn't get, I couldn't get people to stop wanting them. They'd come up, they'd catch me, and since I lived along the stream, everybody was like, well, yeah, well, the guy that ties these lives right over there. And the next thing you know, you got people you don't even know knocking on your door. Hey, man, I was wondering, do you have any of those sulfurs ready? And I was, what sulfurs? Oh, the spinners, the orange ones. And I was like, no, I don't have them ready. I can't keep up with them, but I could have them ready within a few days. Okay, well, I'll take 3 or 4 dozen because they're really working right now. And it is a short-lived season with the sulfurs. It's only about a month and a half time. That's about it. So to sell as many as I sold in such a short time, well, that's something to be proud of, I guess you could say. But anyway, I don't know where I put my good scissors. I just had them. I just snipped. There they are, right in front of my face. And I like to move my jaws around depending on where I have to snip so I can see what I'm snipping and make sure I get it right. So now I got the thorax done, and I've got the segmentation done. Now I'm going to use some stuff. You guys have seen me use this before. This is called Straight Dub by a guy on, you can catch him on Facebook or over on TikTok. His name's Danny Decare, D-E-C-A-R-D-E, capital C-A-R-E. Yeah, again, it's called Straight Dub, and this makes some really nice emerger shucks, sulfur spinners for flies, you know, like the Spentwings, bait fish, parachutes. There's so many applications for this stuff. And it's amazing. It really is. It's very strong. I mean, that's just a clump of it. And I'm going to set the piece I cut down. And I'm just going to grab a little chunk. And what I'll do is I'll pull on that for you guys with everything I have. You see it right there. That's the piece I'm pulling on. And you can't, I'm not a weakling, but you can't even make that stuff stretch. This stuff is impervious. It's like, it's so tough. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be tying in my spinner. And I cut off a piece that's a little bit bigger simply because you can cut them down to where you want them. And I have reason for that because I want it to go in perfect. And I don't know, I don't think you want to cut out the piece of the, the exact size that you want and try to be cutting and trying to be tying it in. You want to go a little bit bigger so you have room to play. Now this one I'm going to have to work a little bit. I got one too many wraps. Okay, we're going to turn this. No, we're not. Dadgummit. All right, we'll back up. It's okay, guys. Bear with me. This isn't the easiest part of the job, but it's okay. No one said anything was going to be easy in life. And if they did, they were lying to you. There, I caught that just where I wanted it. So I'm going to turn this over this way, and I'm going to start doing the figure 8 around this. There we go. Now I'll start wrapping a little tighter because I don't need to pull it through anymore. Now I'll give it double wraps this way and then double wraps this way, doing that figure 8 the whole time. And now that I got that where I want it, I'm going to give it a couple more tight wraps just because I don't want it coming loose. And there it is, and then I'll just wrap up a little bit, and I'll stop right there. I'll get another little swatch of dubbing, which I have right here. Make the dubbing noodle. I like using super fine dubbing simply because it's easier to make a noodle out of. For the most part, I use dirty bug yarn for my bodies, but I didn't have the color that matched what I'm trying to do right now, so you go with what you have. So I had the right dubbing, so that's why I'm using dubbing. And I'm building that little black head because, I don't know, that always seems to be I like the way a fly looks with a black head on it. I don't even like using different colors. I'm pretty much I like to use black. I don't know what it is, but that's what I like. That's my preference. You guys can have your own, may have your own, whatever it may be. And you're welcome to your own opinion. And believe me, I don't think the trout are going to care if it's a sulfur colored head or a black head or brown head or red head. They don't care. They're going to eat it. If you put it by them right, they're going to eat it. I'm a firm believer in presentation is everything when it comes to trout. You can put a little bit of dubbing on a hook, and if you throw it by a trout the right way, they're going to come get it. As long as they can't tell, as long as they don't see any skating of the fly and things of that nature, and they can't tell that, you're trying to fool them, they're gonna come out of where they're at and they're gonna bite. That's just how it is. So now that I got that to that point, I want to clip this down, and I want the wings on the side to be about as long as the hook shank. There's that. There's one. Oh yeah, that's nice. And this one too, about right here. Nice, easy. Because this stuff's not easy to cut either. This is a very nice. The straight dub is something else. And yeah, there's a lot of bugginess to it, but you want that nice buggy look. That you want to have it. Believe me, it's a good thing. So now I will take my UV craft resin, and I want you guys to pay attention, particularly to, if I can get this right, to the head right now. Watch how quick this stuff sinks into your thread. I've been telling you guys about it. Now I can actually show you. I'm laying a good bit on the head, on the thread right now. There, look, it already, you probably couldn't see what I saw. It's already soaked clear into the thread almost the whole way to the hook. There's just something about UV craft resin that it just makes it, I think it's the best resin out there. And I am not alone in that. There's quite a few people that feel the same way. So now I'm going to cure that. Spin it around a little bit. And you can get picky if you've got little hairs sticking off here and there. You can grab them and pull them off. Or you can just leave them be, because as I said earlier, the fish don't care. And there we are for today. Today's pattern. The sulphur Spentwing. A lot of people will call them spinners, but really they are a Spentwing. It's where the wings that were sticking up like this, when the fly dies, they come down to the side, and that's pretty much the end of their cycle. They'll float down the stream and they pass away, and the trout start tearing the crap out of them. So, now, I need my tweezers. Get a nice grip on them. And there it is. That, my friends, is a sulphur spinner. It's a good pattern. And, you know, you might have to move your wings forward a little bit to get them to stick out to the side just right. But believe me, when they're on the water, they're just going to go where they're going to go. The fish don't care, I promise. There you go. Sulphur spinner. If you guys like what you see today, like I say every other day, please like the video. And what's important for me is I'd like to get people to sub to me. So if you see this and you haven't subscribed to me, please do. It's helping me build my channel. And I thank you guys for being here. God bless. Have a good day.